welcome one, welcome all to the Two and a Half Brain Cells podcast. This is episode 7 with your hosts, Murtaza.
And I'm Raza.
And this week we're going to be diving into some very interesting topics.
Let's kick it right off. So this week we're talking about the movie series Supergirl and their casting decisions behind that, Perseverance and the Mars rover, and the great feat that is getting a rover on Mars. I mean, this has been a big thing in the science world right now. And lastly, in our series review, we're talking about Alex Rider, and Mirza shares his thoughts on the Amazon adaptation of the series from the original books. So let's get started.
So, first of all, the Supergirl casting call that is for the upcoming Flash movie, starring Ezra Miller as the Flash. It's going to be linked to the other DC movies, and it's going to be linked to Justice League and Wonder Woman and all that great stuff. The actress though, Sasha Cali or Sasha Cal. If she's listening to this, I apologize for butchering your last name. She is a fairly new actress, I'd say. Haven't really seen her in much. She's been in a couple of short movies, but I think this is her big break. Oh, never mind. She was on the soap opera The Young and the Restless. Do you think
Wait,
the
isn't it?
DCEU is ready for Supergirl? Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was saying you said Sasha. Isn't her name Sasha Kale, or maybe just that's my pronunciation?
I'm not entirely sure
Kale.
how to pronounce her last name.
All right, we're just gonna call her Sasha then. Okay. DC. Well, I'm not a big DC fan, and I don't want to get into the whole mosh pit that is DC versus Marvel and why Marvel's better. Okay, but um, I guess it's looking really interesting. I'm not a big Supergirl fan in general, so I'm not gonna be. I don't have like super high hopes. I mean, again, I'll probably hear about it, and if it really bangs, then I'll probably watch the series
It's a
or the
movie,
movie.
bro. Yeah, it's the
When
Flash
the
movie.
movie.
Not she's not getting her own movie just yet. That's the thing.
Oh, so she's just is this like more of like a side character in the series in the movie or what? Who's the lead? Is she the lead?
No, she's not the lead. The lead is Ezra Miller playing the Flash, the same guy who played the Flash in the Justice League movie, and he also had a cameo in Batman vs Superman. He's also he has one of the main roles in the movie series Mystical Beasts, the one that's connected to the Harry Potter films. It's like a prequel
Ooh,
movie. He's a
Mystical
really good
Beasts. Now
actor.
that's a series. He
Honestly, I
played.
haven't
Who
seen
did he
Mystical
play in
Beasts yet.
this? Oh, you haven't? I've seen the entire
I haven't
series
seen it.
pretty much. It's very. I don't know if it's. I don't say it's really good. I've watched. I've so Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald. I've watched that. The original Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That was the first one that I watched in the series. Um, I think they're really the first one was really good. Obviously, this is from the Harry Potter universe. I don't like so I don't want to talk too much on like the backstory, but um, in my opinion it was a good movie transition from Harry Potter as good as you could get. Like the bar of Harry Potter is already so high that very few things can touch that bar. So
What I do like about
yeah,
it though is that it's not a continuation of Harry Potter. It's actually technically a prequel.
yeah. I mean, they didn't. You can't add on to something that's pretty much done. Like they finished that series, and I would say if they were to ever go back and add on to the series, people would compare it too much to the original, and it would never get a chance. if you know what I mean.
Mhm. No, I completely
Yeah.
understand. Except for they did do a play, The Golden Child, which takes place after Harry Potter. And that was a critical hit. Fans loved it. But I think the beauty of that is that it was a play and not a movie.
Yeah, I think they really wanted. I kind of liked. Oh, there's a third one coming out. Fantastic Beasts 3. Interesting. I didn't know that. So apparently there's a third one coming out in 2022. So that's interesting. But and it's being filmed in Germany, which is kind of cool. Anyway, getting back to the point. The problem with Harry Potter is that I think after the series finished, that they really wanted to preserve they didn't want to like upset anybody because like the books had a huge fan base. Like a lot of, I mean, I read the books growing up. I up till like the fifth/sixth book. I didn't read the last one. It was too long.
You should read
It
the
was like
last one. It's so good.
it
It's
probably is really
so
really good.
good.
It's probably a lot better than the movies as well. But the point being, I think they really wanted to just preserve both the series and the movie and just be like that's it, like that's not, and which is why, but people were like, people still wanted to like cash in on the hype because anything Harry Potter, you're instantly going to get like a lot of people because it's just that popular of a show. So yeah, that's probably why they had the play before they even started thinking about Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Because mind you, Harry Potter ended. The last movie came out in I believe 20. I'm not. I'm gonna butcher that. I'm just gonna check. The last one came out in 2010, 2011. No.
I think it came out after that.
Yeah. So the last movie, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part Two of the original series, was in 2011. It released on the 15th of July, 2011. So, and then Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them didn't come out until 2016. So that was a good 5 years later. And I think
Mm,
it's
mm,
because of
mm.
that. They wanted to make sure that they probably didn't want a bunch of people probably approached them for ideas of adaptations because Warner Brothers owns the universe, right? But then they're probably like, no, this is too similar to Harry Potter, or like, no, there's not enough good material here, and it's going to become a really bad movie because this is just so much better than what this is, right? It was also
But they
very much like
also
yeah, go on.
they also made like Harry Potter World, right? Like in the meantime.
Oh, they did that? When did that
Yeah,
open
I
up?
think
I
it's
mean, I know it exists, but I just didn't know when it opened up.
I think it opened up around the last movie or after the last movie came out. I'm pretty sure it's like part of Universal Studios World kind of thing.
Yeah, so I just googled it. Harry Potter World. It's in Orlando, Florida, primarily, I believe. So, oh wait, no, I lied. There's total of five. So I don't know what this total represents, but it says total five, five in Florida, and then there's two in Japan/Hollywood. So exists. But Harry Potter World is a thing. I know that. The original intention behind it didn't happen until 2010, though. So it came out like pretty much as the last movie was coming out. They decided to cash in on all the hype because back in 2010, 2011, everyone was just like crazy for Harry Potter, right? I mean, 10 years later. I mean, this is technically 10 years since the last movie of Harry Potter came out. If you think about it, in July of this year, so it's it's interesting.
The fan base is still
Like it's
huge.
still
The
it's still
hype around
huge.
Harry Potter is insane.
Like, it doesn't matter if it was 10 years old. People like, if you go like, if you ask your friends, people are still willing, like, I know people that still just binge the entire series because it's that good.
I do that
I
like
do that as well.
once a year, maybe. Like I'll sit down and just binge the entire series.
I reminisce about it, and then I'm like, "Okay, now I'm inclined to just, like, binge the entire series," yeah. I usually convince myself n now, so a lot less, but, like, when I probably get some more time again, then when I make some more time for myself, I probably will just binge it. It's like a full like 2-day thing, and like it's just so well done.
Oh yeah, they're quite long for, for full length
Movies
movies, but I feel like they're not long enough. Like they could have made the movies longer and people still would have gone to see them
watch
in
them.
their entirety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
But
problem is
hey,
what you
as
have to
everyone
consider
knows.
is back then they weren't making it for like home consumption, if you know what I mean. Like these were theater movies, right? So they
No,
probably
but
worried
they
about
came
people sitting
out
in their
the first
seats that
movies
long.
came out like around the time where home consumption was becoming huge with like DVDs and stuff.
Well, I guess you're right. I mean, this has turned more less into Supergirl than into Harry Potter, but um,
But hey,
I
as
think
everyone
yeah,
knows,
you're
Harry Potter and Supergirl are both out of this world. Just like the Mars
you had
rover
to
at
do
this
it.
point.
You had to do it.
I
Okay.
had to do it.
So Perseverance and the Mars rover. So that is one of the greatest feats of probably mankind in a little while. I mean, there's been I didn't actually personally watch the landing, so I'm not gonna speak on all of it. But when I all I did see all over the news was the Perseverance team like cheering and like being very very enthusiastic, and everyone was. And I had a few snaps from people that were they were really enthusiastic about it as well. So yeah, but Mars rover on Mars. Now, just for reference, to get to Mars, it takes about roughly 4 months. So, um, it's been a long time coming. So this is like the first step of so this is NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They're the ones that are pushing for this. Now you're probably thinking if it why if it only took 4 months, why haven't people already gone to Mars? Why is this the first rover on Mars? It's actually not. The Mars rover has been there before from 2005. There was a whole 10-year period where they didn't actually go back and do a lot more like digging and researching because like the hype died down. But thanks to Elon Musk's SpaceX and his push and for just really driving a lot of change in this sort of space, space, space. Okay,
Space.
that's bad. All right. Okay.
Space. There
Anyway,
was there was so much space for you to make a better pun, but
yeah.
I guess at this point that's wasted
It was
space.
that's it wasn't an intentional pun though. I was trying to okay, anyway. Space
Space.
area. Oh, I can't say it because I was okay, fine. Space, all right. Elon has really pushed this space okay, space. He's really pushed this area or niche, and he's the one that really like he started flying a lot more um, spaceships and shuttles to the moon to collect data and whatnot. He's like, hey, we've been there. It was cool to go to the moon back in the '60s, and then after that, people just stopped caring about the space race after like the 1990s. A point being, Elon Musk made it cool again. He's the one that I pretty much think inclined or at least got NASA back on board with trying to push for that realm. And he indicated there was a market for people that wanted to go and just go and visit Mars because why not? I mean, that's a pretty big flex, right? Okay, I'm going to
Yeah,
Mars for
but
the
from what
weekend,
I've
or I'm going to
seen
Mars for a couple months.
from what I've seen for like you're right, it's a huge flex if you can book a flight to Mars, but also like the ticket prices for the first commercial flight or something, it's like 6 or 7 figures per ticket,
100%.
which is absolutely insane.
100%.
But,
I mean, obviously,
it
it's
would be cool.
bank. Yeah. So my question to you is about the Mars rover. Would you be willing to go and like live on Mars for a few months? And obviously, I say live because if NASA or Elon's not just gonna like, you can't just go like, hey, let's take a round trip to Mars. All right, take 4 months there. I'm there for like a day or two. All right, it's not cool anymore. Let's go back. That's not how it's gonna work. So like, if you're gonna go there, you gotta obviously, for now at the very least, it would be willing to inhabit it. So would you be willing to inhabit another planet for humankind.
Is this for, like, a few months or a couple years, or is this, like, for the rest of my life?
Uh, I would say at least for like, let's say like 2 years, 1 to 2 years.
If it's only 1 to 2 years, I'm down. Like, I'll pack up my things, and I'll go to Mars, I'll help them do all that sciencey stuff to make the planet inhabitable or habitable, um, and then, yeah, like, I'd like to live there for a little bit, assuming that we find a way to make it possible. I
Yeah,
wouldn't wanna
I don't
spend
know
the
about.
rest of my life there, though.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would want to really spend the rest of their life there. I mean, unless you were like very, very. I think it takes a certain person to be willing to just like, hey, I'm just gonna leave this planet that we've known for all this time because, well, the planet's going to shit, global warming, or like maybe it's that type of view that people take on it, and then they see that Mars is a new opportunity. I would certainly say it would take a certain like you got to be a certain type of person to be willing to just go there and live there for the rest of your days, if that makes sense.
It does, but I think on the other hand, like, the complete opposite side of that would be someone that's just, like, super science focused, someone who spent their entire life doing research for this specific task, and then it's also, like, a little bit heroic, like, "Oh, yeah, we're gonna be the first people on Mars, we're gonna set up this community, we're gonna make it a planet that humans can actually live on." Right? Like, it's
Yeah,
either you're very pessimistic or you're very optimistic.
it's very interesting to say the least, is what I would probably frame it as. Um, Wait, my concern is with okay, so I'm just on there, I'm on the BBC timeline right now, and I'm looking at this feed of how the landing went, and they characterize it as flawless, but I'm looking at their shirts and they say Mars 2020. So was this supposed to happen last year? Or am I missing something? Because it shouldn't they say 2021?
I saw Do you know who Mark Rober is on YouTube?
I do know Mark Rober. He's used to work at NASA before he decided to drop that, and instead of being a NASA engineer, he decided to be a YouTuber engineer.
He
Well,
actually,
it didn't yeah,
worked for Apple for a while too after leaving NASA.
really
Yeah. But
interesting.
yeah, so he made a whole vlog. He released it a couple days before the landing was supposed to take place, and I think in that video he explains how it was supposed to happen last year.
Yeah,
Like,
explains
but
the
then because of
shirts.
the pandemic, exactly, yeah. It explains the shirt so that it was supposed to happen last year, but because of the pandemic, everything had to be slowed down.
Damn, but so it says here that the Mars rover, well, it launched. Oh, okay, no, no. Maybe
Oh, did it
maybe we're
launch
wording
in
it wrong.
2020? I mean, it definitely
Yeah,
launched in 2020 if it landed in early 2021.
yeah. I think I think you're right. I think it launched because I just googled it. The original rover launched in July 30th of 2020, but maybe it was supposed to launch earlier that year, like back in like maybe just before the pandemic started, or around the time the pandemic started. So then it would have gotten there before the end of 2020, and then their shirts could make sense. But because it got delayed, they launched it late, and thus the shirts no longer make sense. I don't know why I'm held up on the shirt. I just feel like this should say 2021. I'm kind of I don't know. It's just a small detail.
Yeah, I mean, it's NASA. They should make sense of their shirts. Like, come
It's
on,
also
you guys
NASA.
are
I
all
think
nerds.
they could really care less. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're all nerds. They should care about what's on their shirts. They should care about the
Hey,
numbers on their shirts.
hey. Start giving nerds a bad rep.
No, I mean, it's dope, but, you just have to care a little more about what showing to the world, guys. Come on.
I think they could I think they just care about more so the feet, less so about the number on the shirt. But yeah, it does bug me a little bit they did. But I think that at that point they were like, we already made like maybe how many people work at NASA? A lot, maybe like 10,000 shirts.
You
A
think it's
lot
gonna be
of
a group of
15
like
people.
15 people on like a bowling team, and they're like, "God damn it, Craig, you already made the shirts. The
I mean,
landing's
that way
tomorrow. We can't do anything now."
employee. I'm just googling the employee. So NASA has about okay, I lied. Okay, well I'm close. They have so on paper it says they have about 17,000 employees, which isn't a lot for a company or an annual budget of $22 billion that they get from the government. So nice. Um, but they're NASA, right? So
I think at this point we're just gonna blame Craig for it. If there is anyone at NASA named Craig, god damn it, Craig,
I
you
don't think
printed
that
the wrong shirts. You got the wrong shirts printed, Craig. God damn it.
I would assume it was 17,000 shirts, and they don't look like they're like cheap quality. They look like really nice shirts. So I would assume like they're collared and everything as well. I would
Oh,
assume
okay.
that
So you're saying Craig has a contact that can hook them up with good quality shirts, and
no,
he
I'm
still
just saying.
fudged it up. He still fudged it up. Come on, Craig, you're better than this.
uh,
Also, just a full disclaimer,
speaking
I'm
of,
using the name Craig because that's our recording bot. Like, if there's anybody at NASA named Craig, please don't take any offense to whatever I'm saying.
I mean, you could take full offense. Albeit, just know that we're talking about a different Craig. Not all Craigs are the same.
This
Speaking of
Craig
which,
is
I
just
didn't realize
built
this, but
different.
the US now also has a space force as well. I didn't realize. Didn't know
Oh
this
yeah, they
until just
formed
recently.
that under Trump because I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. Space
Like
force, and I think they.
no
I don't know if there's a Netflix show on it. Is that a meme or is that based on the real thing?
no, that's a meme.
That's a meme, right? Are they memeing the
That
US Space Force? Or oh no,
pretty
they're
much.
definitely memeing the US Space Force. Yeah, they are. So there's this video. So if you Google Space Force, there's this picture. Yeah, so it says the as soon as you Google the word Space Force, it just says, "Is Netflix's Space Force show inspired by the real military branch, the US Space Force?" I don't understand. Okay, I don't want to go into this right now. I think this is a whole topic for another discussion, but it just does not make any sense to me as to why he would do this. But then again, a lot of the things Trump did made little sense to anybody. So
But also,
surprise.
there have been confirmations within the U.S. government of like alien life and like extraterrestrials possibly coming to Earth. And although like I don't want to go into the whole Trump thing right now, but if um if he did make it for a reason, it is a really high possibility that he knows something about aliens that we don't.
Yeah, I think as okay, so I'm just on the Wikipedia page right now, and from my understanding, I think the Space Force was originally like under the Air Force, or like it was like a very small branch. Like they had like some like capacity, and when I say space, I mean like not like space as in that way. But if you go to the Wikipedia page, they say this guy named General Bernard Adolph Shriver, also known as Benny Shriver, was a United States Air Force general who played a major role in the Air Force's space and ballistic missile programs. So I would assume that the space and ballistic missiles, which were part of the whole Cold War thing, so like having nuclear bombs and whatnot, like there was an Air Force Space Command, and I think what Trump did was he just separated it into a complete different entity of itself. Like Space Force is now its own thing. It's no longer tied into the Air Force, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, the show is definitely memeing them hard. It's only been
Yeah,
founded back in 2019, just before the panoramic started.
did you just call the pandemic the panoramic?
Yeah, I did it on purpose. Before the panoramic started in March.
Panny? Are we calling this a panny now?
People are just memeing it so much just because it's been so long. It's been too long. Anyway, so that's my 2 cents on the Space Force.
Space Force.
Uh,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Space Force. Oh yeah.
yeah, I don't know about that, but speaking of Netflix series and shows in general, you're gonna talk about Alex Rider and
Yeah,
what's that all about?
Alex Rider, first of all, it's not on Netflix, on Amazon Prime. Um, which is, they don't have nearly the selection that Netflix does, but they're up there, I guess. Alex Rider though is it's an amazing show. It's I think it's less than 10 episodes. They only released the first season so far, and I love it so much. I was a huge fan of the Alex Rider books as a kid. Did you ever read those?
I did not. No.
Really?
Nope.
Oh my god.
I
Okay.
read a yeah.
No, sorry, what were you saying?
Like I was saying earlier, so I've heard of the series and I've heard of the name being passed around a lot, but I actually did not read the books, I mean, sorry. I did not read the book.
Okay, so you know James Bond, right?
Yes.
So this is basically if James Bond had become a secret agent as a high schooler in the UK.
Okay.
So it all starts off in the first book. Like it's Alex Rider, he lives with his uncle and like a caretaker. Her name is or her nickname is Jack, but his parents they've died before the book started. He doesn't have an aunt, and his uncle, as far as he knows and as far as the readers know in the beginning, his uncle is a banker. But then it turns
Okay.
out his uncle is actually a spy who gets killed by Russians in the very beginning of the first book. And then the spy agency, which I'm pretty sure is MI6, they pretend to be the bankers and they come over to Alex Rider's house for like, condolences and stuff and to let them know that, oh yeah, like everything's gonna be okay. And then Alex, he finds a way to track his uncle's car because he's been told his uncle died in a car accident. Turns out the car is perfectly okay. And then he finds or he tracks or the person in charge, like Alex's uncle's boss finds him and then he gets recruited to the spy agency.
Holy.
And then the
This is very
first
messy.
The first it is very messy, but, like okay, and my explanation is doing it absolutely 0 justice, but the first
Okay.
book is actually different than what the movie's about. I mean, sorry, what the TV series is about. There was a movie a few years ago which covers the first book, and then this TV series is completely unrelated to that movie, but the
Okay.
first so the TV series, they take in, like, some elements from the first book, but most of the story is from the second book, and it's him and he has to infiltrate, like, a rich people school, like a correctional facility for brats of billionaires, and it turns out this place is owned by and run by, like, these neo-Nazis, and they study these rich kids and then make clones of them or actually, they make clones of the boss, and then they use different surgical methods to make the clones look and speak and act like the kids themselves, but like a perfect form of these kids whose pure like their goal is just to take over their parents' companies. They're like billion-dollar empires, and then give it to this leader of the school so that he can take over the world.
You know the series very vividly, and it's inclining me to go probably at least watch an episode or two of this, but probably not the movie, but the series. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
definitely
details that I'm
recommend
not really
watching the
following.
series. Sorry,
Yeah.
like, it's a lot to take in, but when you watch the series itself, everything makes sense, and it's just so, so good.
Is there an older movies or a TV series, or is this who is this
Oh, this is the
guy?
first TV series for Alex Rider, but there was one movie that came out in, I think, 2016 for it.
It looks like it came out in 2006. There's this other guy. I just
Really?
googled the movie
Was it
and
2006? I could be very wrong.
um it says Alex Rider Operation Stormbreaker. Is that the movie?
Sorry, yeah, that's the movie. It didn't come out in 2016, it came out in 2006. I was a whole 10 years off. My
10
bad.
years. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It just seems it looks a lot older, so I was like, damn. Well, I guess the interest fades and dies, and not all series are treated the like some books are really well done, and but they're like I would imagine if that movie had done a lot better in the box office, they would have made a lot more adaptations of that. But that's just how the that's just
Yeah,
how
that
the movie business
movie,
works.
I mean, they did make a profit, but they didn't make a huge profit. Only about like 5, like between 2 and $5 million essentially.
Ooh, yeah, they only made so I think they actually didn't make any profit. So I just googled the movie and it says that it cost them 25 million to make, and the box office was between 20.7 and 23.9. So they
Oh, my
actually
bad. See,
lost money.
I'm reading this backwards. You're absolutely right. They did lose money on that. Oh, wow, but the budget was also in Great British pounds, whereas the box office is in what I'm assuming is US
Oh, which
dollars. So they made an even
which
bigger loss.
yeah, I would assume. I mean, let's just take 20.
But if you look at the cast for the movie, it has Ewan McGregor playing Alex's uncle. It has Damian Lewis playing the Russian that killed him. It has Andy Serkis in it, Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah, so their budget just to have the facts straight, their budget was about 35 million USD if you convert it over, and they lost and they only made 20.7 to about 24 million, which is
So they lost about like 5 to $10 million.
yeah, and they probably were like, yeah, yeah, this is a bust, not doing this again. But I guess that's what you get with movies. I mean, they probably try to make like a big splash, but then if people just don't like it, people don't like it, right? Whatever the reason
Yeah,
may be.
but I
Yeah,
think
but
it's
it was
also
also
because they tried marketing it to like kids more, I think.
yeah, it looks like more of it. Like he doesn't like I think it looks a lot more kiddish. The actor looks a lot younger. The main
Well, he's
lead.
supposed to be in high school, so
Yeah, but if you look at I mean, he still looks like he's high school, but he just seems a lot more. Well, then again, maybe I'm just playing it. There's if you just Google the series, there's a bunch of pictures comes up and it looks a lot darker. So it's probably like, and teens can probably take a lot more of it. Back then, I would assume it was a lot more like you got to keep it PG and you can't push too many boundaries on like blood and gore.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But hey,
The
I mean, it's a good movie. I mean, I personally like the movie. I like the series more. The movie also had Jimmy Carr in it and Stephen Fry. For those of you who don't know, Jimmy Carr has a very unique sounding laugh. Have you ever heard Jimmy Carr's laugh?
I have not. No, Jimmy Carr. Let's see.
Yeah, just search Jimmy Carr laugh. Hilarious.
Jimmy Carr.
It sounds like he's dying.
No way. That's his real laugh. That's an exaggerated
That's
laugh.
it's probably exaggerated, but like that's the only kind of laugh you'll ever hear him make on any program ever.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a fake laugh. But he really. It just
Could
makes
be
it
a
sound
real
so
laugh though.
natural.
I think it might be real because he um he had a segment for it on the James Corden show a few years ago, and apparently it is like a natural laugh.
He has his own YouTube channel. I didn't know that.
He's a world famous comedian and actor, so the YouTube channel probably just is a part-time hobby kind of thing.
Hmm. Interesting. Wait, so it was he in the original, or is he in the new adaptation?
No, he was in the original movie.
Oh,
The new adaptation, uh, it doesn't star like very well-known people.
I think that's mostly
Like
just
just
because
by
Amazon wanted to keep the budget low. So the problem with I think acting is that you either make a really really good movie with like actors that aren't as popular, which and you take a risk because sometimes bigger names draws in more people, obviously. But then if you spend less money on the cast, you can spend more money on effects and like arguably I would say
true.
sometimes effect is what makes the difference, if you know what I mean. Like if
Yeah,
it's a
but
movie is
this
really well
one
done, yeah.
but the thing is it doesn't have a lot of like VFX in it. Sure it has some, but a lot of the stuff I think is practical effects. It's
Hmm.
still great though, and like the acting's great, all of it. I really like it. So I would rate this show coming from like as a fan of the TV series. Sorry, yeah, as a fan of the TV series now, as a fan of the book series growing up, and as a fan of the original movie that was released, I would give this a solid 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. That's pretty high. I mean,
Yeah.
dang, okay. We should really make like a list of all of the series that we also do, just so that people can look at our reviews and then I should probably write them down somewhere and publish it on like Twitter or something. I might make a list of them today, probably, just so that we can push them a bit more, and then you guys can decide for yourselves if Alex Rider is worth that 8.5, that lofty 8.5 that Mertz giving
Also,
it.
it's only 8 episodes. They released all the episodes at the same time on Amazon Prime. So you
Mm-hmm.
could definitely binge it and it's just so good. Every episode leaves you wanting more.
Hmm. Interesting.
Cuz I watched this with my brother and my mom, and like all three of us were really into it. So it's
Oh, you guys
great
all
for
watched
like
it together. Oh,
yeah, we all watched it together. It's great for all ages,
interesting. All right, I might have to
but
actually
it's
watch that
not
series
like
then.
a rated E for everyone or like rated PG, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a great watch. I highly recommend it. Um, yeah, and then hopefully by next episode you can let me know if you've seen a little bit of it and give your take on
Yeah.
the show.
I mean, probably not this week. I might find time at some point. Just gotta. It's right in the middle of midterm season, and just need to batten down the hatches a little bit. So I'm gonna get through those, but then I probably will have watched an episode. By if not by next episode, the episode after that, I'll probably follow up if I remember to. It does look very good though. Like I do like more action type of stories, and it's always a lot more interesting. So a very good movie. Just before we end it off, a very good movie that a very good series I watched was what was it called? It had pretty much this exact same premise, like high schooler UK spy esque thing. What's it called? God, the golden. It was the not the golden. It was something. Not the.
Golden Girls?
Damn it. No, not no, god damn it. It was about this kid. It was pretty much exactly the same like exactly the series. Something start with the Kingsman. There we go.
Oh, the Kingsman. Kingsman, amazing movies. It's a very different premise than Alex Rider.
Are they releasing another one in 2021?
I think it's
Ooh.
called The King's Man. It's a
It's coming
prequel
out in
movie.
3 days. Oh, it's coming out in 3 days. Oh yeah, but it's coming out in 3 days. Holy. Wow. Okay then. I'm
It's
probably gonna watch that for sure. Kingsman 3, the new. Anyway, but the ones I'm talking about. So the original, the Kingsman, the Secret Service. I watched that one. I watched the 2017 second one, which was Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Very very good, both of them. I like them a lot, in my opinion. They're very very highly rated. But I think that's a review for another time.
yeah, I mean we
Yeah.
could just we'll end it off here that we'll review Kingsman next week. And there is just one more thing I gotta say about the Kingsman. Take me
Yep.
home, country roads, to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home, country roads.
All right, that's enough out of you. We're gonna leave it on that. We'll catch you guys next week. Why don't we kick it off with the socials? How about you take it away?
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. You can catch us on Instagram and Twitter at 2HBCPod. And this episode will be available everywhere you listen to podcasts. It's available on our YouTube as well at 2HBCPod. And all of our other links are available at our link tree, which is linktr.ee/2HBCPod. Thank you once again for listening and have a great day.
Peace out, guys.